This is the talk that I planned to give today, and this is the talk that I prepared. And then I've spent the last couple days talking to community members, hearing feedback, hearing what you want to talk about and what you want to see. And so this is no longer the talk I'm going to give. For folks that are interested in this talk, sorry, Luca. I'll be posting this as a blog and making the slides available in the coming weeks. But so for those of you that already tuned out, because it looks like this talk is going to be about social media, I think this will be a little more interesting. Just so everyone has context, you've been hearing from me all week up here, and I've been hearing from you in the hallways, in events, between speakers, and even online. I want to make this time valuable to the people here, so here's the talk you actually asked for. Let's talk free switch. I'm going to try to address a lot of the feedback we've been hearing. I won't have all the answers today, obviously, or all the solutions, but I'm going to do my best to answer what I can. And I'm also going to leave some extra time at the end for questions from the audience, for folks that haven't talked to me yet. So let's start with the big one, the latest release. Let's be real, you don't want to hear about it from me. You want to hear about it from the devs. So we're going to get Andrey up here in just a minute. And for those of you that don't know, Andrey is the one currently driving FreeSwitch releases and reviewing the community contributions as well. He wasn't able to be here in person, so he's joining us virtually. So go ahead and take it away, Andrey.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrey Volk. I joined SignalWire in 2018 once they started. I was contributing to FreeSwitch before that. You may know some of my work, like the database interface in FreeSwitch, mod MariaDB. I keep the lights on for the Windows build, packaging, and I've never been in ClickOn. Hopefully one day I will see all of you in person, but finally I'm there with you. So thanks to that amazing technology we have today. Speaking of the announcement, I'm here today to tell you that FreeSwitch 1.10.8 is out. This is a regular bug fix release. As you already know from the discussions on the community roundtable, we are focusing on testing a lot today. And not only that, we are focusing on the code quality as well. We have resolved static analysis bugs in all FreeSwitch core and mass modules. We went through static analysis for Sophia SIP library. We use it in mod Sophia in FreeSwitch and resolved those issues as well. Tools helping us with that get improved, and they find more bugs, and so we revisit static analysis all the time. Also, I should mention that there were a few security issues reported in libsophia. We're hosting our projects on GitHub, and people can come and file a security advisory. Hopefully, so far, issues have been well described and in a good academic language. That really helps. So we fixed all of them, and solutions have been published. So I encourage you to use the latest Sophia SIP library for security reasons. We use the whole bunch of different tools to keep things running. And sometimes there are bugs and not our bugs. So for example, a few days ago, I found a bug in the tool we use for Debian, to make Debian repos, and FreeSwitch for Raspberry Pi for Debian 11 was affected. It was just silently misbehaving, and I had to repair the repo. And I believe that is fixed now. Another example, a few weeks ago on Windows Festival, FreeSwitch just to open FreeSwitch solution in Microsoft Visual Studio, it is so big. So really need the latest Visual Studio as they improved the speed just recently. In that IDE, there is a helpful feature. When you investigate something, you can point to a symbol in a source file and hit F12 or right click and find all references, so you could see where a particular thing is used. And if you download one of the latest Visual Studio 2022 preview, they just stopped working. Hopefully, there is a feedback button, and we filed the issue, and Microsoft fixed that in a week. So don't forget, upgrade libsophia, and that's it from me, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrey. All right, that's the big one out of the way. So next up, I want to talk about some pain points that we're working to address with FreeSwitch and that I hear from you guys quite a bit. Now, I know most of you haven't spoken to me yet, and that working on a fix, awesome, it comes across the dodge. But I'm not going to talk about anything today that isn't already in the works or already done. Some of the things are moving kind of slowly, but they are moving. So the entire open source roundtable agreed documentation is a huge pain point for most open source, and FreeSwitch is no different. I've mentioned it in passing online, but we're looking at a better documentation solution than Confluence, because it works really well when a small and controlled group is making the edits, but it really falls apart when we're having a larger group wanting to contribute and wanting to make those changes. And what we're looking for is a solution that's more capable of handling those larger groups, makes it easier for first-time contributors as well as the long-term contributors, and makes it a little more obvious what changed on the page when it tells you that the thing was edited recently, right? So as we're making that migration, we'll be looking for community input and for folks who want to collaborate and get involved there. Next up, PRs and issues. So currently, majority of issues filed are not actionable, and the poster often doesn't respond to us when we ask them for more information. Similarly, many of the PRs are not in a state where we can pull them in. So we're working on refining the code contribution guidelines. They exist, but we do want to extend them, and making requirements for issues. Nothing super out there, just things like repro steps and logs, so that we can take those issues and act on them. That'll help us respond more quickly to the PRs. It'll keep everyone on the same page, and overall, it'll make the bug reports more actionable. Now, it's been a while since FreeSwitch has had positions like bug marshals, but after we have those clear guidelines in place, we're going to be looking for folks to volunteer for that as well. So also, full disclosure, I want to call out that when those guidelines are put in place, we are likely going to be closing a lot of old issues and bugs, and a lot of the PRs that don't meet those guidelines. We're going to reach out as much as possible so folks know the what and the why of that happening and know how to resubmit within the guidelines, but this is just a heads up for the folks here. Next up, we've got the forums. So people have been requesting a searchable forum for years, and we've been working on the forums for a few months now. Slack moved recently in September to strict 3-month retention for the free plan, which really moved up our timeline for this and got us bringing it live as soon as possible. Before that switch, we had about 6 months of history, but the 3 months is pretty rough. And that's not to say the forum's going to be replacing Slack. It absolutely is not. But there's a place for conversations both in the forum and in Slack. Our intention with the forum is that it be for more of the long-form conversations, things where if you don't catch it right then, you're not going to get to participate in Slack. Basically what we're doing right now is either we can create a thread and it scrolls up and you miss it, or we create another channel and it just divides your attention. It's another place to pay attention to. And also for new joiners or for people that didn't see that message, it's incidentally excluding them. So, sorry. Also, every few months, it's just gone. These people are giving answers and contributing, and then, 3 months later, we brought it up in the open roundtable. That work is gone, and it's not archived, it's not searchable. So instead, we're looking to bring those troubleshooting conversations and the things that aren't just immediate conversation into the forum, so it actually is preserved and searchable. So as we're making these spaces and putting the time and energy in to be present in them, we want to hear what you want and what you need a day or a week later. We don't expect people to contribute every day or to talk every day, but check in, tell us what you're thinking. The first big one for that is there's a thread in the forums for office hours. Currently, we're doing those once a month, and for people that don't know about the office hours, it's a time where the Free Switch devs are just there to answer questions, talk about PRs. They're troubleshooting, they're doing best practices. We've approved PRs live in the office hours. And it's a chance for you to talk to the devs directly, get your questions answered, in addition to ClueCon. So the forums have a post, it's a poll. Tell us what times you can make. Currently, we're doing the first one at 9 in the morning Pacific, and we want to make sure that we have a time that's accessible for everyone. So if you want to join, you want to participate in that, forums.signalwire.community. Tell us what you think. If there's multiple that work for you, absolutely. And we're going to be starting that in November, so get your votes in soon so we can set it up. One more thing on the office hours is that we've heard folks want a clear agenda. Right now it's pretty freeform by design. When folks register, they can tell us what they want to talk about, but a lot of folks just drop in every time and they don't have a specific agenda. I'm going to put up a sheet, basically a Google sheet, so folks can just add to it and everyone can see it. It's transparent. And then you can tell us what you want to talk about and we can have a little more structure. And Brian will thank me for that one. And last off, I want to say thank you to some folks. Thank you to the people that have come and talked to me this week, given me feedback on the event, on the talks, and in general. This talk is better for it, and I'm going to take it and keep running with it. Thank you to the community members here that are hacking on free switch bugs and contributing code. Your work and your contributions are invaluable. And thank you to the people who are present in the Slack, who are present in the mailing list, trading 5 minutes of their time for 20 hours of frustration for the asker. It's such a small effort to share that knowledge, but it makes such a huge impact on the people asking. Open source isn't possible without the community, and it's always a two-way street. So for everyone participating in the Free Switch community, I see you and I appreciate you. And that's all I've got today. I said I'd leave time for questions. Before I open the floor, if you want to talk more about anything at all, I've got my contacts here, handles, if you care about those. And just send me an email. I'm more than happy to talk, and I'll be here all day. Thank you for listening, and I'll open the floor.